Star Guardian Lux, right, was really just, hey, this character's based off Magical Girl, so we're going to give her a Magical Girl skin that's a little more direct
Literally,
of a reference.
it's like a comedy. It's like if you combined Monica, Sailor Moon, and one of the pink-haired girls from Pretty Cure.
Yeah,
So she is your standard pink-haired magical girl.
yeah. By the light! And all that.
Which is funny because she's your pretty standard girl. Just kind of continues the trend.
Yeah. Lux, super basic, super generic. Not much to say.
Average.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd go for a Jinx next.
Revolutionary.
Yeah. I mean, for the reason that she's one of the only people wearing shorts. Like, that is pretty revolutionary, don't you think?
Yeah, and also just,
She just has the best look of the season.
yeah. And her weapons, it's just and it really, her character, right,
Mhm.
arguably doesn't fit the genre, but it still works, which I think is
Yeah,
really
she's
cool.
played off as the rebel, as both the rival, the bad girl, and the rebel without a cause, which really works for her. I
Yeah.
also think her familiars are some of the cutest.
Mhm. And her, yeah, it just fits. Just fits really well. I think I own
Yeah.
it.
Poppy.
Poppy. Where's Poppy?
Poppy's pretty cool. I don't know if I put her as, like, magical, but
I'm gonna put
she
her.
works. She's pretty.
Yeah, I would say pretty, because, she has, like, a lot of stuff that really sets her apart, but Poppy's kind of thing, right, is that she's kind of not generic, but,
No, but she's pretty basic. But
Yeah.
I like her. I like her night look
Mm-hmm.
much more than I like Lux's look.
Yeah. And I suppose that's kind of a thing that we might have to talk about is some of these skins came out later, so they just have a lot stronger artistic kind of vision allowed for it. That's
Yeah.
something common in League that always comes up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we do have to take into account that this is the first season. That as it's a lot more basic, but it still does a good job getting the design out.
Yeah, it's the core that kind of sets up everything else that they build off of.
Exactly. We wouldn't have gotten the more complex skins without these ones coming up first.
And plus, I mean, Poppy is just a nice character. Like,
Poppy is a nice character.
yeah.
I would go to the other Yordle next.
Yordle?
With Lulu.
Lulu's kind of been pretty too, because
Yeah, she's pretty. There are some things that make it a little magical for me, but it's not Lulu herself. It's the familiar.
I mean,
Because I think there's something so enchanting about this little, I don't even know what this creature is, holding a giant seed.
oh, is that what it is? Let me see.
I think it is. It's either that or a magical egg of some sort. It's adorable. No one else's familiar is holding something.
I mean, part of. Oh, you're right. Yeah, it's the little flying guy holding like a ball or something. I think part of it is also the advantage of Lulu's concept, right? Lulu is the only one who has a familiar in her just base gameplay. She has picks, so.
Yeah, I'm stuck between pretty and magical because her expression, and I am going off the splash art and not the game art. If the game art was here, I'd be in a much different mindset. But her splash art definitely looks one of the most traditional magical, in my opinion. Sparkly eyes, the very happy and optimistic expression, and she's kind of also a ball of chaos, so it works with her.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that kind of it's kind of like if she wasn't a Yordle, she would be with Lux probably, because she would be just a green magical girl.
Well, even then, yeah, I mean, her proportions, it's funny how her Yordle proportions, the bigger face, the fluffy ears, she's just got a lot more character than Lux does. Like, if you were to ask me between Lux and Lulu, which one I would pick, I'd pick Lulu. Mm-hmm. She looks like the more fun character to be around.
Yeah.
So I am debating though if it's gonna be pretty or magical for me, because in my opinion, and I am between the two of us, I am the one who has watched the magical girl shows. She does embody that spirit.
Yeah.
Of the more positive magical girl shows.
Yeah, I do think it's funny. My experience with magical girls, right, is technically the opposite or whatever. Like the Sentai, the distaff counterpart, where it's dudes transforming. You know,
it's pretty fun. I think both of those are pretty fun personally, but I think I'm gonna put her in magical because if we're thinking about this on a magical girl basis, I don't know. She embodies the older spirit. The newer one's definitely on the Monica side, but I enjoy someone who can embody that pretty pure.
The pure classical, hey, we're playing this straight, you know, with the power of love will change the world.
Yeah, she is a bundle of joy and possibly chaotic energy. Who would be probably running around with Lux and Jinx on different adventures. I think she's a little magical.
Yeah.
She's fun.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that leaves Janna. What I like about Janna is that I think they did the hair beautifully with Janna. Yeah. They have the hair in a goddamn ponytail blowing up, and it was genius.
Yeah, this one was the most, or at least this first, like, team, right? This first team was the most, like, hey, they're all kind of similar, but they'll visually appear pretty different.
Yeah. I liked a lot about her. I love the ribbons. Mm-hmm. I like the star accessory on her. And it's so funny because if her hair wasn't blowing upwards, it would actually look silly to me that she'd have such a thing, but it actually works so well with the hair.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say she's pretty magical too.
Yeah, I do find it funny that she's part of this. Or is she in the same grade as them?
No, she's fourth year. She's one of the older members. She's kind of the veteran of the group.
Okay, yeah, and I think they kind of got that. They managed to capture it pretty well. I mean,
yeah, Lulu is more the pretty cure. I feel like this would be like the experienced witch. She gives off witch vibes.
Or yeah, she kind of has the I don't know if they've ever done it right, but whenever they have like the mentor, which is I think what they put her as, which is funny that she's part of the 5
she's the mentor of the group.
Yeah.
You were. Yeah, I think I could comfortably put her in magical. She has that presence about her.
Yeah.
And
what's really nice, right, is that they all, at the very least, carry a different energy. Like, you're never going to be like, man, they all kind of bleed together. They captured that, what you have to do with the team, where it's like, every character besides Silhouette, you can tell by their, like, you know their personality and know how they're going to be compared to the others.
Yeah, like Jinx is the rebel, the kind of loose cannon. Lulu is the innocent cinnamon roll with a touch of chaotic.
Yeah.
Poppy is the sturdy one. Janna is the very wise mentor type. And Lux is Monica. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah. Actually, excuse me, that's a disservice to Monica because Monica was actually a good character. Sorry, Lux fans.
Lux is Usagi.
Yeah. More Usagi.
Yeah.
It's not because I can see her crying every 5 minutes or anything. I promise I don't have a problem. I don't have too much of a problem with this character. Too much.
I mean, her gameplay is relatively fun for a static mage with no mobility. So.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in standard Barbie and Ken, and we're getting to the Ken real soon. So,
Rakan. Anyway, sorry.
But overall, season 1's got a pretty good lineup. I mean, at worst, you've got one in the average section, but the rest do pretty well.
Yeah.
All right. Which leaves our season 2, starting with Ahri. I'm like looking up their full splash arts. Even though I know these guys, I just want to look at them.
Yeah, because you don't want to like go off an assumption. You want to make sure, because you never know what you might see that's different.
Now, Ahri is... I like the colors. Might be one of the only exceptions where she's blonde. I lie. It's not. Stop making Ahri blonde. We have enough blonde skins. There's 1,000 other colors. Please. Use other colors.
Yeah. I want to say that she goes into pretty just because she takes the core, because the leader, right, of the team is always the generic one. But they manage.
Unfortunately.
But she manages to have just enough kind of unique that she, to me at least, I feel like her costume stands out compared to like Lux,
Yeah. It's the small things like how her outfit is put together. Her outfit's a lot more. It's got a few more complex elements than the season 1. You can already tell by just looking at her. But also adding in some of those asymmetrical assets really help her too. Especially that hairpiece to the side of her head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with you though. I would say pretty.
Yeah.
Let's get this over with. Ezreal. We're gonna get the first boy now.
Cube.
I know you're putting him in Cube. I am going to look.
But in all seriousness, I think the thing with... And it kind of just happens, I think, when you take something that's basically the girl team, right? And then you put in Ezreal, who... It's weird because what started as a really problematic joke, they kind of leaned into, and now that he is who, we used to joke about, right? And so, that being said, the overall costume isn't bad.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of those old sci-fi uniforms in anime, like the old ones. But
and I think that's the thing. It's a costume and weapon, and it could have been in a different skin line, but they put it in Star Guardian, so they added the star details.
Yeah, it'd be a disservice to put him in average, I think.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, I'm gonna stick to that. I'm on the edge here because it is a little average looking, but there's just enough elements for me to warrant against it.
And I think for me the thing is like the elements that are there, it pulls me out. I don't feel like it's quite the same fantasy. But
yeah, it does feel sci-fi, but then again, you're putting this guy into a magical girl situation. What would you put him as? Well, a space explorer. Give him a sci-fi outfit, much like the older shows, and have him traverse across the stars. It makes sense for what his character is, but there's no jointedness. Yeah. That I understand you're talking about.
And there's like a version of Ezreal where it's a girl.
That's hard. I think it's a little hard for me to put this one in.
And it fits, but...
Because personally, not my real type, but I don't hate it.
I think this is also very much my personal preference, right? But for the type of love interest character.
If he's fine enough, maybe I will rescind. Maybe I will put him in average.
I mean,
or maybe we need another section. Actually, that's what I'm saying. Another section that calls that's slightly disjointed. I think that's fair, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I think the thing too for me is the costume he has, right? And this is admittedly off my limited, but the costume they gave him, I feel would fit I guess the best way to word it right is the older, more mature love interest, if that makes sense. So
I suppose with this guy to Lux's Bloom. Links.
Yeah, and so it's like when I think of like Sailor Moon, let's say, right? You look at Tuxedo Mask, and part of it is art style, but Tuxedo Mask looks like a teenager or young adult who is, he's like, oh, the mature, dashing, guy in the team.
Yeah.
I think Ezreal's costume leans towards that when he himself, I think, could have benefited from having just slightly different costuming. Yes, I'm basically arguing that Ezreal should have been wearing like shorts, but
yeah, they should have leaned. You're saying they should have leaned more into it.
Yeah, because if
there's a person who could sport a mini skirt, I can't finish it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like when I think of Ezreal and how to use a character that looks like with his character design, I think, okay, the gals in his age range, right, are dressed in high school uniforms. His should also kind of have that private school uniform vibe to it.
Yeah, or at least like a 9S vibe from the Automata.
Well, it's the same vibe, right? It's hey, these are school uniforms turned into magical combat gear.
But I mean, okay, but you can't really argue. That would be an argument towards every one of these guys, though. That would be an argument to Rakan, and that would be a
no, because Rakan is a fully grown adult.
Actually, he's still a student. They're all students.
No, but in terms of body type, that's what I'm saying. In terms of his body type and design.
Boy, I see.
Yeah, and with Echo, instead, and this is where it gets really interesting, right? Is I'm not sure what Echo's personality is in this series, right? But if I see a character like Echo, he's not the full-blown delinquent, but he's kind of the slacker. So I think his uniform could kind of represent that, where it's a similar thing. It might not be a private school shorts uniform, but he'll be more likely to wear like the pants. It's
all right, but that's all the way in season 4. We're still in 2.
All right, bringing it back. But does that kind of make sense what I'm saying? Does it make sense what I'm saying? Their uniform and their archetype, because really, when we're looking at magical girls, right? It's a genre. It's one of many genres built off slightly tweaking art.
I agree with. I think that's the main problem. I think it could have been another skin, kind of a sci-fi-ish skin.
Yeah.
And it already has that space explorer vibe. So.
Oh, you know what his outfit looks like? I figured it out.
Huh?
I know him from Space Dandy, but the character was a parody of another. But his name, look up Space Dandy Prince. And I'm going to put up a picture of him on the TV screen. Or, the video screen. But see if you can find a full body.
Oh, yes, the pretty boy.
Literally, it's the sci-fi pretty boy archetype. Who's also, Ezreal I think is pretty short. I don't
know.
It's not a big deal, but it's like, yeah, that's why when you brought up Rakan and stuff, it's like, but yeah, the difference is, right, how he's presented.
Yeah. Alright, but we both agree he could have been another skin.
Yeah, just, I'm putting aside my dislike of Ezreal.
Because I know you want to put him in Cubase. It's okay. I'm not the one who's going to be lynched for it because I'm just putting him in that section. But
yeah, but I want to keep our lists kind of looking the same. It makes it easier.
Sure. Okay. Next one up would be do you want to do Miss Fortune or Soraka?
Let's do Miss Fortune because that's what we did with Ari and Jinx. Or, I'm sorry, with we did Lux into her aggressive Lancer.
Into the aggressive, the aggressive second in command.
God, what's that? Yeah, it's just how you do it.
No, I really like Miss Fortune. And again, part of this is her familiars are just extremely cute.
I like the pirate one.
God, they're just twin troublemakers. But I also think her skin in particular is a lot of fun. Even the game play-wise, I like what they do with that shock of fiery red hair with her.
Yeah.
It's not like the most magical, though.
Oh, the most magical. I would say, though, it looks like a girl who's on Ari's team. And
it does. The older team.
Yeah, I really think that's kind of the direction they were kind of looking for, which I think is fine. And I'm also super biased. I really love when it's guns but not guns. I mean,
I'm pretty sure those guns are like levitating off those off the, I don't know what it's called, the gun hole.
The gun. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, she has the star crystal floating in front of the barrel.
Yeah, which is fun. I would say overall, though, she does strike me as pretty and not particularly magical.
Would you put her above Poppy? Or no, it's not in order. I'm being silly. But yeah, pretty.
We could put it in order. I'm fine with that.
We can do that at the end. We can do that at the end.
Yeah. But as to your question, would I put it above Poppy? That'll be stuff I'll have to think about later. But yeah, I'd say pretty. Mm-hmm. I vote pretty.
Okay.
It's just there's something missing from the splash art. There's something about Lulu and Jana's that speaks to me far more. I would put Miss Fortune over Ari.
Okay.
At least. So, if it's over Poppy, I'm going to have to think about that.
I think for me, part of me is like, oh yeah, put it in Revolutionary, but the truth is what holds it back is they didn't find a way to incorporate her hat. And that's very important.
That would have actually stuck out a bit if they had managed to do her hat. That would have been fun. I get it. Magical girls don't exactly have hats, but it would add to her silhouette. Yeah, there we go. Her silhouette's actually pretty plain right now. Mm-hmm. It does feel like there's something missing.
Yeah, the only thing that stands out silhouette-wise are her cannons.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not. And that was actually the thing that helped to push Jana's up. Her silhouette's so damn noticeable. But yeah, it's just needing a little more. It doesn't need like too much, but I like your suggestion of bringing back the hat.
The problem is like when I bring that up, if someone said, "Well, how would you do it?" I'm like, the first thing that pops in my head is like that. I think it's a sombrero, but like with dangly stars. And I'm like, no, that doesn't work. You can't just give her a Zorro hat.
See, I like the idea. Let me make sure I have the name right. Okay, I mean, why not just have like a magical girl pirate hat, but instead of like, but have those like the crystals sticking out of the hat like musketeer feathers.
Oh, that could be fun. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say my other idea was you could give her a hat like Vaughn of the Dawn. He's from a show called Gunsword, and he has basically the witch hunter hat, but there's a ring on one end. And I'm thinking for her, she could have the star hanging off the ring, and that's actually how she transforms or whatever. Right, is turning the hat, or like this is if it was a show, but still, like
yeah. I see the picture now. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna still cling to my idea, but the silhouette of the hat could stay. The ring needs to go, but have crystals just like almost like the giant musketeer feathers. It would definitely bring some fun personality to her, like an extra touch of it.
Yeah, because that's really what she has, right, in terms of the team too. So, oh wait, no, are her familiars her guns?
They become them?
Okay, I was gonna say if they did become them, she could just have her familiars dancing on her head.
No, I think I remember reading the last bit of lore. I'm pretty sure her familiars become her guns, but I'm pretty sure they would dance on her head.
Yeah.
If they weren't, so.
She's just standing there and they're doing the ring around the rosy, just ha 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 ha. I think it's cute. Yeah.
Okay. Soraka would be next.
Soraka. Oh, I didn't realize that Soraka got what premium, the gold skin.
Yeah, we can do the premium after, but let's
not, because they don't. A lot of them usually lower the quality because they're just pure gold and white, and they aren't really.
Actually, it's not much of a difference, but I don't know if I mind this one. I don't think I mind, and I think I don't mind this one as much because there was not much. I would absolutely put Soraka as an average. There is not much to this that draws my eye. She is very plain. Very plain.
I mean,
and Soraka was one of the first people I played, so that hurts me to admit this.
I like that she has wings.
Kind of.
She has the butt wings.
She does have the butt wings, but I mean, it's not new. It's there, yes, but it's not new.
I mean, for the Star Guardians, though.
It's definitely a silhouette, but I'm sorry. I think this is average for me. It's weird to admit that because yes, she has the wings, but I'm still bored. So I hate to do this, but I am putting her in average.
Okay. Who is next?
Syndra. Syndra is the last one.
Oh, we've got well, in my opinion, we got a winner. I think she's either magical or revolutionary, but.
Okay. She's either in magical. I'm debating if she's in revolutionary, but she is a solid magical, and revolutionary is where I get really subjective. I need to say that when something's S tier, it's one of my favorites. Syndra walks the line. I'm not sure. But I will tell you that she is at least magical for me because, and again, it's about silhouette. Her headpiece is a striking design choice. Her colors work really well. The diamond patterns on her ribbons are a really nice touch. And I love her familiars.
Her familiars are the best part.
Her familiars are the best part. Making all 3 orbs on Syndra, all these chaotic familiars, each of which have their own emotion, that's actually really creative.
I like on her splash art, there's one in the back left that's like massive, and it's just got this little, he's got the, Maho's like, oh, sorry, I shouldn't reference it. He got the, It's not quite an XD face, but
it looks like he's being squished. It's so cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also like her personality is also really, really there. She doesn't look like a standard magical girl. She's definitely got plans. She's definitely devious. She's the one that you would want for an ally, but you shouldn't trust.
It doesn't show up really well in the art, but it's a small detail. But I really like her eye patch, and I noticed that like when people do fan art too, sometimes it doesn't really come through too much. But I like, little things like that. It's just little variations on the concept.
It is a shame that her eye patch is not shown, but it is a wonderful touch. I think that she is quite a standout. For me, she's magical. If not a little revolutionary. I know for you, she's revolutionary. Yeah. No, I think I'd put her in revolutionary. She has a very standout personality and a very standout silhouette. She is the star of the second season, and the second season overall is a little weaker than the first one. But
I don't know how to word it, so I'm going to use the wrong words when I say the second season definitely has filler arc vibes.
because shameless transition, the third season has some of my favorite. Okay, I am putting Syndra into magical. I changed my mind.
Okay.
Only because I remember season 3, and I'm like, I need to make room.
I think they also get hit with this really weird thing where it's like they didn't quite have the idea of a lore for the skin line yet. But yeah. I feel like season 2 is when they were establishing it. It's like, well, what if there was an older team of, ladies? But yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so Syndra's in magical.
Syndra, you're okay with that?
Yeah.
It's okay if you put her in revolutionary.
I'm going to leave her in magical because I think, A, we're doing this list together, but B, I can't really refute any of those points, it's how it goes.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hail this season because there is not an average skin in this line.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, it's true. We'll start with our only Star Guardian this time, Nico.
Alright.
I, for one, really love Nico's look. Ever since she came out in that video, I thought, wow, she's freaking adorable. And we talked about Soraka with the wings. It's so funny to me that I look at Soraka with the wings and I go, eh. But then I look at Nico and what they did with this headpiece, again with the headpiece. Her and Syndra, she has such a standout headpiece here. But not only that, I absolutely love this tropical color palette they put her in. The oranges and greens, and the freaking stars studded on the lizard tail. It is such a nice look. I personally think she's revolutionary because for a protagonist in a show, she's at least magical. But I personally absolutely love this design. She is so much fun. She exudes a lot of energy. Her familiar is a freaking frog fairy. I love it.
Yeah.
And again, another thing that they did was they changed her eyes. The pupils in her eyes having that clover shape. Another little fun pop there. She looks so cool. If I had seen this as a kid, I would have wanted I would have wanted to draw her. I would have looked her up all over the place on my Gateway computer.
Yeah, I really like how they kind of, and I think it's her secret advantage, I suppose, but when talking about her silhouette, right, her having a tail, in theory, would have already given her a very unique silhouette.
Yeah.
But then they give her the headpiece, the way her hair goes. And it's a really small thing, but I like how they changed up the formula of the gloves with how it interacts with her markings.
Yeah, I'm glad you noted that because I really liked that too. And even the way her gloves are, because her original, I remember right, her original skin, she has those like pink chameleon hands. And the fact that they kind of hinted her fingers being green on the glove is a really nice touch. I like the way the glove is made. I like the way the colors were made. I'm going to be repeating myself. She, in my opinion, is revolutionary for a magical girl. She's just a lot of fun to look at. And the fact that she got a prestige skin, I guess, is fine, but taking away so much of that color and making it all gold is it's one of the reasons I hate prestige skins.
Yeah.
So, where would you put her?
I would put her in revolutionary because the thing with her is, right, is that there's so many talking points, right? There's so many places that we can discuss, and it's something that a lot of the other characters just don't have, and I think that's a good mark of revolutionary.
Yeah, she's quite a standout. If you were to tell me this was the protagonist of a show, I would be over the moon just by how good this design is. All right, let's if we're agreed on that, let's go to our Jesse and James of the bunch, Zaya and Rakan. And I vote Rakan first because I really like Rakan's look.
Alright, first one is their evil look, correct?
Yeah, we won't go to the good one until we get to season 4, because technically we're gonna follow canon here.
Okay, Alright, it's not their splash art, but I found a good picture, so I'm gonna...
Yeah, in their case, just look for a picture. Alright, so...
Rakan.
What I like about season 3 is that we finally get some freaking villains into the fray. And all of them look fantastic. I am a big fan of the teal they used for Rakan. But the aqua teal colors they used for Rakan, with the black, with the almost midnight blue and purples and the darker colors, but the teal being the standout point.
Yeah.
It's fun. He looks devious. He's got the freaking chest marking and head marking that would really make him not silhouette wise, but just from a character point, you look at him and you're like, oh yeah, that's Rakan.
And that's why I find it so surprising, I suppose, that they did that Zaya and Rakan were both good. Because I guess the best way for me to word this is, with Rakan's design, he screams, this is a magical girl villain. They have always been the villain. They might be roguish, they might be likable, but, at the very least, at the start of the series, they are unabashedly a bad guy.
Okay, here's the thing for me. Here's the thing that I find funny. If you were to tell me that Zaya, just Zaya, had once been a magical girl, I'd believe it. And this is why, and this is magical girl logic that I'm going by. But if you look at her corrupted outfit, she's got the slightest hint of white in her look. Rakan has none of it, which makes Rakan feel like he's always been a villain.
Or at least a rogue or the wild card, you know.
Or a rogue, yeah. Exactly. But still, there is not a splash of white in this look. He looks devious. He looks like he would be a villain.
His eyes glow, like, you know, understated villain trope right there.
Yeah, yeah. And I love how his feathers create that robe. It's a really nice look on him. You really can't talk about Rakan without talking about Xayah, but I do think of the two, they are paired really well together. But I do think Rakan has the better villain look.
Yeah. The question is, do you think he's revolutionary as a Star Guardian villain?
Yeah, I think he's magical.
Okay. That's what I was.
I think he's magical. I think Xayah is.
All right. Well, let's talk about Xayah. Let's look at her.
Yeah. Rakan is very securely magical. He's missing a little bit of something, but we are going to get to another revolutionary. Spoilers first.
Anyway.
She's into season 2. It's just not Rakan. Rakan's close though.
Yeah.
He's very magical in the villain sense.
And it's very... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, and going off that, it's very interesting to have him on this list, right? Because as a villain of a magical girl or Sentai, right, his design is a lot more open, which I think they were playing with, but then they retconned him to having once been a Star Guardian, and I think that takes away from it a little bit. I thought it, you know...
Okay, well, in my opinion, I think I don't know if it was ever retconned. That's the thing. From the moment you saw the video with Xayah, Rakan, Nico, and the last one, spoilers, but you saw Nico having a flashback with every single one of her team. Xayah and Rakan are a part of that.
Yeah.
Even to the dolls that Zoe has, Xayah and Rakan were included in that.
Okay, retconn's not the right word. I guess it'd be him written as having been a Star Guardian. I think for me, and the way I like structuring stories with that, right, is he was a bad guy or a wild card. He gets together with Xayah. She maybe doesn't fully reform or, you know, quote unquote tame him, but then something happens, and so he comes over after that tragic moment because of Xayah, but not directly, you know, because of her, if that makes sense.
Well, my thing would be this. I would say that maybe he didn't start out as a Star Guardian. Maybe he got caught up in a Star Guardian scuffle. He might have been a thief or something. And Zoe revives him first. He revives him first. Then she'll eventually revive Xayah, who could be part of the Star Guardians. Through Xayah, it is already stated that he is aware of the corrupting presence and what has happened to him. Xayah was not. But because he deeply cares for Xayah, he continues to take on that corruption for her, knowing what it's doing to him. It makes him complex, but it makes him not a Star Guardian from the start. It could be that, like, he's the Gambit. I like to think he's a little bit of Gambit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But I wouldn't want to change too much of his lore, because I think Rakan at this point has some of the best parts of the lore in Star Guardians. Maybe just tweak his origins. He wasn't a part of that original team, but he was actually a henchman of Zoe's before Xayah became a part of it too. So, we could also explain his coloring.
Yeah. So. Also, speaking of Xayah, so we've gone on about Rakan and how well they've been using him. How do we feel about her?
All right, we are talking season 3. Because we can't... Season 4 is coming. But season 3, I like her look. I think it's fun. The idea of the vengeful Star Guardian who died, got revived by the enemy, and just wants revenge for being abandoned. was a very solid story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her character design does a good enough job of portraying that.
Yeah.
She has that hint. Again, it's that hint of white that is enough to kind of show that she was a Star Guardian at one point.
Yeah.
It's very important. Those, especially in magical girl shows and animes like this, colors mean a lot. Because they could have put her in all black. That being said, I still stick by my opinion. She's not as impressive as Rakan is.
But does that knock her down from magical to pretty?
It's hard. That's a hard decision to come by.
I do like that her gloves are modified to accommodate her. Actually, it's funny to word like this, but she has the Gambit gloves, which I think fits her because she's the thrower, you know.
Yeah.
I like that she has a bit of his feathers in her hair.
Which is par for the course. She has that with the normal skin, but that his feathers are so vibrant that it actually provides a nice pop in her hair.
Yeah, and I like the use of angles, and I just really enjoy it. And I also think, maybe I'm wrong, it looks like Ari actually has two of her feathers in her hair? Or is that just a ribbon?
I think that's just a ribbon.
Oh, fan fiction fail. But,
Sorry.
But yeah, I think...
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence between pretty and magical.
I'm on the fence because if she isn't pretty, then she's probably the top of pretty.
Yeah, I can definitely compromise there.
That's definitely how tight, the running is. Yeah, let's put her in pretty.
Yeah, maybe it was. That's so funny that it happened at the same time. I'm looking at some other pictures of Xayah. I do think her colors are very standout.
Yeah, because it's the purple and the, for lack of a better term, violent magenta. Well, it's funny. You know what it is? It's her regular colors, just repurposed and maybe changed in value to fit the skin line.
Oh, yeah. And again, I think you actually made a good note talking about her shape language, how she's a lot sharper than a lot of others. I think that's a really good point to make. She's got a sharp-looking skirt that matches the sharpness of her ears and her feathers. Not many curves on her. I think she goes into the bottom of magical.
Oh, you've made the cut.
Just because I think there is enough there to distinguish that, but not enough to put her any higher.
Yeah.
I am going to put Rakan at the top of magical.
Just going to get that out the way.
I am getting it out of the way. For me, magical right now is probably Rakan, a fight between Janna and Syndra, Lulu, and then Xayah. I can say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will put it in order, and then we'll probably talk about it and go more into it. I'm still very impressed with the skin line that, for the most part, it's upper enjoyment and ranking,
Oh, we got one more. We got one more to do, and I'm telling you now, she's revolutionary.
Ooh.
And that's Zoe.
Where is she? Where'd I put her? There she is. Let's talk about evil Zoe.
The fact that, first off, I'm going to take a page out of TV Skyen right now, where some of the best characterization is when you take a character and you flip that personality on its head. I never thought I would be seeing Zoe as a villain. Yes, a chaotic force, but I never saw her as a villain. And then this came out, and I was blown away by just how good this skin looked. And it is, by any means, it is busy. She has a lot to her. It's chaotic, but Zoe is a chaotic force of nature. It's perfect.
Yeah. Plus, I think her familiar is one of the most creative. So there's
freaking octopus.
It's an octopus like bear.
Yeah. With little skills. It's actually quite adorable, and the idea of this chaotic, malevolent force in the body of a child.
Classic. Can't go wrong, honestly.
You can't go wrong. And might I also refer to just how they draw her when she goes full chaos mode. The almost malleable sketchiness of her. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
They did villains so good this time. And boy, was she a boss. That's all I have to say. Mm-hmm. I got nothing else. She's great. Don't change her. She's very revolutionary as a villain.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those times where it's like we don't have to talk too much about it because it's like it's just there, you know. Mm-hmm. It's like with Poppy or Ari, we can kind of waffle about why they're just above average, or but for everyone magical and above, it's pretty, and especially in Revolutionary tier, it's pretty obvious why they're there,
Yeah. And that leads us to
Season 4.
The current season. We're not doing pajamas. Sorry.
Yep,
we ain't doing it.
Yeah. I really consider pajamas another skin line, honestly. It's just...
It is a skin line. It's kind of like... It's literally the pajama skin line.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I am going to put Urgot and Kyubey just to, so we at least have someone there.
It's pleasantly cursed.
Yeah.
It's pleasantly cursed.
It's like...
It's pleasant to look at, but cursed.
Like, I would have loved it if they actually committed to the bit, and it was like, instead of Urgot, it's one of the familiars, but in like a mech suit.
That would have been adorable.
Like, it's like, look, maybe it's not Urgot, but, it's this weird crab octopus familiar who is like, none of the Star Guardians want me because I'm not cute, but I can still fight for the light. Let me just
I appreciate the cursed nature of this particular skin.
I mean, Star Guardian Urgot as a meme, right? It's like, haha, it's funny, but it's like it's also one of those jokes that if you really committed to it, you could really do something revolutionary.
I mean, he's a cosplayer. He's even got the pass on his neck. Around his neck.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. Alright, so season 4 is interesting because we've actually got two main storylines, Wild Rift and the actual game. If we start with Wild Rift, then we need to do Xayah first. And if we start with the mobile game, we need to start with Kaisa. Which one do you want? I'll let you pick.
Let's do Wild Rift.
Alright, which leads us back into Xayah. Because Xayah is sort of the main driving force of the story. If I don't own Wild Rift, but that's what I assume.
I mean, yeah, they definitely have a lot of her and Rakan stuff.
The fact that they chose to expand on her story was actually a nice tale. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
Alright, I need to put down Redeemed.
I will say this. Maybe it's just like my personality and, how I respond to this. I feel like they are both... I think Rakan is lower. Xayah is like basically the same. Just with a little bit of how the turquoise is like laid out and stuff.
I would agree with this. They are two... It does feel like a color chroma. However, my big compliment is once again that freaking teal, that aqua green. It is such a pop in her hair, in her clothing, at the tips of her wings.
Yeah.
But I would agree with you in saying that that does not make it better. They are both pretty good skins. I would say they are definitely on equal ground.
Mm-hmm. See, part of me wants to say Xayah isn't pretty, but Rakan is an average, because I feel like this costume change doesn't. It doesn't give him a nice contrasting color to his teal. It's just teal and white. So it feels a little. I don't want to say phoned in, but it's not popping for me like Xayah is.
So yeah, we do lose a bit with Rakan's redeemed skin, which is a shame because it would have been fun. A lot of the elements that made the corrupted version so fun are now kind of washed away, particularly the face and chest marking.
Yeah.
He be a clean boy. He don't do the drugs.
Okay.
Let's put him in average though. He's still pretty, but he's like he's okay. I would not put him in average though. Average is for those that I'm bored with, and I can still find stuff I like about Redeemed Rakan.
Okay.
So yeah, are we agreed? We put Rakan in pretty, and we could put Redeemed Xayah in like the top of pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I do. Yeah, just because I like that they're doing stuff narratively. I just don't find the cosmetic worth it.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I'm really charmed by Xayah's skin, mainly because of the Wild Rift videos. Mm-hmm. But I do agree that it is more pretty than magical to me. So, yeah. Well, her dark skin has enough for me to justify magical. Mm-hmm.
Plus, I mean, them having the same colored eyes, it's like a bunch of little things where I'm like, maybe it's also my bias towards the more, at least darker in design characters, right? Where they at least are a little bit, got that wicked vibe.
Yeah, because Rakan's eyes are yellow, and Xayah's being that more purplish pink, and then in the Redeemed, both of them are that aqua green. And I like that aqua green. Again, I got no problems with that color, but I do understand what you're talking about.
And it sounds really weird to word it like this, right? But when their eyes are like that, it's weird, but it makes their redeemed skin, it makes me feel like they're hypnotized or being like mind controlled by the same entity, or one's doing it to the other. And I know that's not what's happening, and I feel like Xayah and Rakan are defined by their contrast to each other. So if his eyes were her pink or whatever that is, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like that would have been much more interesting and striking, and it would have been a mirror. I
agree on that. I think that's a good suggestion. If he had the pink eyes and she did not, that would have been nice. That being said, I am forever a fan of the color aqua green, and the fact that that is the color that they share makes me happy. Mm-hmm. So, but I do think the corrupted skins were better. Yeah. All right. Do we want to switch over to Kai'Sa, or are we just going to do Wild Rift, all of Wild Rift first?
Who else is Wild Rift? Is that Senna?
Orianna, Senna, and Seraphine.
Let's just do it, quote unquote, Xayah's team.
Yeah. Okay. I see Orianna's first. We'll do Orianna.
I'm super torn because I feel like Orianna in this is such a cool character and how they're working, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I can put her in Revolutionary just because I feel like she's there and they want her there, but she's not actually like getting a lot of focus, if that makes sense.
So the majesty of a design, you need to be able to, I would say what stands out from all three Revolutionary designs from the rest of them is personality. that is extremely hard for Oriana, who has been a robot all her life. So she's already got that disadvantage. I do not think she's revolutionary, but I strongly think she's magical because her theme, the moment I saw her look, I was in love. She has a very clear ballet Swan Lake theme, which just works so... She's got probably one of the most clean color palettes. She's blue. She's a lot of different blues, but they work so well with maybe just the tiniest hint of purple. And it works so well with her design. Everybody's got a skirt, but I don't think anybody's got a skirt quite like hers. Hers is definitely on the tutu side.
Yeah. And I like what they did with her key. You know, the issue I think with Oriana a lot of times is the way she's animated and the way her model is rigged. I know it's, you know, this is more out of universe stuff, but because of her model being what it is, right, they have to put something back there. And I feel like this sort of crystal key, you know, helps. You know, the fact that she's like the team mission control in a lot of ways is kind of cool. So she has the earpiece, you know?
Yeah, I love that that feather earpiece on her. It's such an elegant... She's so elegant looking. I absolutely love how she looks. She's not too busy either. The person who designed her, I want to shake his or her hand, because I think this is such a clean looking design, but it stands out enough for me to want to put it in high magical. Not enough to be revolutionary. You need to have a bit more personality for that. But she's definitely in magic. She feels very magical to me. Kind of Princess Tutu vibe. There we go. Princess Tutu vibes. That's what she gives me. Look at Princess Tutu and I think you'd understand. Might be on the same level.
Holy shit, yeah, no, this is straight up, I can see the design elements. Like, even her earpiece, the feathered earpiece, is literally Princess Tutu's hair.
Lord. Yeah.
That's so fun.
And I think if you were to go for a design for Oriana reference, Princess Tutu is perfect because, spoilers for anybody who doesn't know, but Princess Tutu is a duck. This whole situation of Princess Tutu is that Drosselmeyer created a whole fantasy story about a prince and a dark force, I think a dragon, but he died before he could complete it. And as the world was kind of miserable, this little duck watched over, saw this prince with no soul, and wanted to help him. So the spirit of the author, Drosselmeyer, decided to include her as one of the pivotal characters of his new story, giving her a human form and an alternate form that is called Princess Tutu. And her role is to find the scattered pieces of the prince's soul. Oriana is a perfect person to embody that sort of thing, being a robot who was also transformed into human by the first star. So my magical girl nerddom's coming out, and I'm pretty sure I remembered a few things wrong, but I just wanted to point that out about the similarities.
Yay!
I think that's part. And I loved Princess Tutu when I watched it. I was blown away, and I was not young when I watched Princess Tutu. I was probably in high school or college.
That's such a fun, like, fairy tale vibe. Mm-hmm. I really like that story structure.
Yeah, and she has that fairy tale ballet structure. Swan Lake, Princess Tutu. She's very magical. She's out of the Wild Rift skin. She is absolutely my favorite.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Out of the Wild Rift skins, I do emphasize that. There's a contender on the other side. Love her colors, love the references. She feels magical to me. So there.
And I think that's something, we kind of didn't touch on because we just started focusing on the design, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
for if you're a fan of magical girl media, these skins should have that effect on you, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, this reminds me of this show where this and it should feed into that. I don't know if, I'm obviously not the most familiar with it, but it's like it's hard to imagine that a lot of these skins have more than a superficial reference to the genre versus someone like Oriana who has like such a clear, direct, hey, Oriana is referencing this particular series.
Well, I mean, if they had made Kaisa with pants, or shorts, I would have probably gotten Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant vibes from her. But that's getting ahead.
We'll get there when we get there.
Oh, we'll get there. But yeah, she is very magical. It is hard to say whether I like her more than Syndra, but I definitely like her more than the others after. So, but that's something we can do when we finalize stuff. Next up, Senna. The girl with the best hair.
Yeah.
Okay. I know I mentioned this before to you in a separate discussion, but I stand by what I said. I do like how she looks, but there is also too much going on. It hurts me to say, Senna is one of my favorite League characters. But there is absolutely too much going on with this look.
Yeah, I remember you were mentioning it's the, God, what's that called? That little thing on her hair. Then she has a circlet, and then she has the giant earring.
Oh, she has earrings. One of them's just covered.
No, it's poking out. I'm just blind. And then the diamond underneath her eye.
Yeah, it's too much. And then there's that little sash above that's coming out of the star. And even the star's looking a little cluttered on her chest. It's a situation. It's a rare situation where I want to like it, but I need them to take off. They went too far with this.
Which is funny, right? Because like the most complicated part of her design, in my opinion, should always be her gun. But her gun
was done perfectly.
Yeah, I would almost argue you could make the argument that her gun's almost too streamlined. But
I mean, you could make that argument, but I think her gun looks great.
Yeah, her gun looks great. How do you feel about her colors? Because she has that turquoise.
You want my honest opinion? She didn't need the turquoise.
Yeah.
I think that if they had just stuck with purples, much how they stuck with blues for Oriana, she would have looked fine. The turquoise actually hurts her a little. And I get it, she needs... Oh yeah, I forgot about the cape in back of her too. There's just way too much. There's way too much going off. Take off the cape. Decide which one you want. The circlet, the earrings, the diamond there, or the headpiece. Keep the headpiece. Keep the hairpiece. The hairpiece. But take off two other things. If she has the hairpiece, she doesn't need the circlet. I would keep the hairpiece and the earrings. And that's it. Take off the tiny piece of ribbon that I want to rip out because it is so awkwardly put there. And take out the turquoise. Maybe replace the turquoise with a blue violet, the same as her hair. Yeah, she'd be fine. It's like another thing that I really like, her little familiar is super cute. The shark with the snaggle tooth is really cute. But they did too much. Unfortunately, she doesn't come off as magical. I'm actually... I would say pretty, but she is the first person I'm having this problem of too much shits going on.
Yeah. I think for me also, it's really, yeah, I think the turquoise and the cape thing is kind of the biggest thing, because it's like Senna, like at her core, does not need a ton of accessories, just because her design inherently is going to stand out, especially in something magical, right?
Yeah.
It's the braids, it's the fact that her gun is taller than she is, which you wouldn't think would make her stand out, but unless it's explicitly about a magical girl with a gun, I feel like it doesn't actually show up that much of just having a magical cannon.
Yeah. Also, the fact that we have turquoise, I get this strange deja vu with the turquoise on Senna and the aquas in Xayah and Rakan. Just keep her blue, violets, and violets. Just keep it the purples with the golds. It's a nice contrast. We did not need the turquoise. It was too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they probably put down that sash because her original skin has it too. But you could have done something. You could have given her a hood. We don't actually have a Star Guardian with a hood.
Oh, that would look dope as fuck.
Yeah. I just think that they went too hard. They went too busy. And they actually could have done more. They actually could have done something else.
Yeah, it's like they needed to take stuff away from what they have, and they could have put that time or that focus into other parts of the design.
Yeah. Hurts my brain, but I'm actually thinking high average.
Oh!
I know. But it's so busy it hurts.
And I mean, each one of your talking points, right, hasn't really been for it, it's been against it.
Yeah. So the thing I'd keep, her hair. Keep her hair and keep the gun.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, I don't much care for this.
Yeah.
So it's definitely putting her in the same category as Lux and Soraka hurts me. But I can't put her in pretty. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, you're the one doing it to yourself. I mean, you know.
I know, it's just, it hurts me because I really like Senna.
Yeah.
Which leaves Seraphine.
Oh, more pain.
Okay. I prefer just to think of this away from the origins of the character. We don't. Now, my first point is that Seraphine also has a really good color palette.
And it's
I think I told you from the start that it would have been so easy if she would have just been made pink-haired. And they decided to go with yellow for her, yellow and like this red-orange for her major colors. With purple, I admit.
I mean, the funny thing is, the purple works with her.
Mm-hmm. Give that bit of contrast that I think is needed.
But
it's dark enough.
Also, though, to that point, though, she does have pink in her hair, and she has a pink underskirt. So it is kind of
Actually, it's a red-orange underskirt.
Is it? Maybe my eyes are just bad.
Yeah, it's a red-orange underskirt.
Okay, it looks, magenta-y.
Think tangerine.
Okay, because there's the orange one, and then there's the one underneath it. And
no, it's like gold. It's a gold opening.
Yeah.
And then it's the tangerine underneath.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, nitpicking colors, that's a pretty good sign, because I just like the shape language of it. The moth, I guess, is what I guess her character motif is. I like her familiars. I like her boots.
The fact that her familiars are freaking speakers is funny as hell.
Yeah, they're just like, ah!
I know people have said it, but yeah, she does give off Stella from Winx Club vibes. Stella also had that kind of color palette.
Okay. Look at this. I'm learning so much.
Yeah, I'm looking for other things. She also has a little mark underneath her eye, but it's subtle enough. It's not really a bother. I like it. It's pretty.
Yeah, and I think it's funny. I know she has it because it's in her base skin, right? But I almost wish she had to choose between her stage or her microphone. While the microphone makes more sense as her magical focus, the idea that she's just a green goblin flying around singing with her hands open, I think it's fun
with
too.
her familiars being the speakers that play her music. Actually, it's a cute enough concept. I think I'd give it a pass, personally.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of the limiting factor of Seraphine, is that you have to design for all her aspects, which forces her to always be singing in some way. But
to me, the moments, controversy aside, because we could go off on Seraphine's origins forever, and it wouldn't be pretty, but you gotta admit, when she came out, one of the first things in some people's minds was, she better be getting a Star Guardian skin. And they did it. And it looks good.
And exclusively on their mobile game.
I think that might have been a secret blessing. But hey. In my opinion, she's pretty. She's not magical, but she's pretty. I like her well enough.
Yeah.
I'd put her... Oof. I'm gonna put her above Rakan, and I'm gonna keep her there for right now.
Above Rakan, but below Miss Fortune and everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's pretty. She's pretty. Yeah. I got nothing else to say. She looks good.
Yeah, I guess the best way to put it right is like she works in that role. She's functions there.
Yeah, she functions. She just doesn't give me the true fantasy magical vibes that would be required to be the next level.
Which is funny, because I think what holds her back, right, is that she has all this extra equipment, but it's not like it still feels separate from her.
Yeah.
Obviously,
it's not like Oriana with the key and that. All right. That concludes the Wild Rift section, which only leaves one more spot left, and it's the biggest one of all.
Yes.
Kai'Sa's up first.
Kai'Sa. It's funny. They really added extra to Kai'Sa, because they did not need to give her I want to call them katars, but her pew shooty arm things.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad they did, because it feels right.
Yeah, she is very well designed, and she out of everybody else, I think that she has that angelic feel. She portrays that the best. Her weapons, like you said, are extremely well designed. I like how they did her boosters and her katars.
I'm going to call them a katar, but I don't think those are actually supposed to be melee weapons.
Hey, it's what we will go with. Her color palette's also really nice with the pinks and blues.
Making her team pink, I thought, was a interesting choice, because it felt like, they were kind of getting away from that a little bit.
They just fully embrace. When you get away from it, then you need to fully embrace it.
Yeah, I suppose. I think it's just fun too, right? Because I don't know if they did new voice lines for her, but it Oh, they did. Yeah, it definitely recontextualizes Kaisa in an interesting way. I think her, with the way her animations and her moveset looks, really fits it as well. If I was buying skins, I'd definitely consider it because I don't have a Kaisa skin and she doesn't have many. But I like how they gave her the little horns and then she has the little Sailor Moon, stars on them. Yeah.
Right, so this is my
fight song.
I have a serious dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a solid difference between this Kaisa and the Kaisa in the Porter Robinson music video. It's the stars in the eyes. It's the stars in the pupils. I think the Porter Robinson one actually feels magical to me, but I can't say the same of it just by itself. It's strange to admit that. Because she looks really good. It's another, is she the top of pretty or the bottom of magical debate for me. I want to say she's the top of pretty.
The top of pretty? Yeah, just because there's just enough that I feel like I have to, for lack of a better term, like mentally take a step back from to, and that's something that I think a design shouldn't. If you have to mentally take a step back and really consider if it's good or not, that definitely means there is an aspect that's missing.
Yeah. It's so funny, though, that with Corrupted Zaya, I chose the opposite end, but with Kaisa, it took a lot less time to figure, no, she's at the top of pretty, but she's a good design. Yeah. But there is something that is missing from that truly magical quality, in my opinion.
And it's funny because we're doing this based off splash art, right? I feel like in-game, where a lot of details like that, it's impossible to have them come up. I feel like Kaisa goes higher in-game, which is a very rare occurrence where in-game feels better than the splash art.
Well, also, again, I would like to point out the Porter Robinson version. That is just fully animated with the stars in her eyes. That gives a huge magical quality to her look. It does feel like a magical girl. I think the other thing that bothers me is that she almost looks too old. And that's weird for me to admit. She's very pretty, but I can't, in good conscience, put her in magical. There are a few things that just make her miss the mark here. So.
Yeah, it's funny you mention age, right? Because it's like, they probably... I feel like it's because her face is very angular. Yeah, I just feel like this happens with Kaisa all the time, actually. I really feel like they change the dimensions of her face on certain skins. And so it's like, they tell me this is Kaisa, but I'm like, you don't look like Kaisa to me. Which is weird.
Well, no. The thing is, to me, she does look like Kaisa. And I think Kaisa has always had that more longer face. That being said, though, the way that the face is structured, it feels like, okay, this is gonna come off so strange, but roll with me. It feels like KDA Kaisa, who saw the Star Guardian show and decided to cosplay.
I can see that.
It's a weird distinction because, again, yeah, you have other people who are more older. Miss Fortune and Ari, in particular, who probably have a similar problem to this, but It's really, really noticeable with Kaisa. All right.
Maybe it's because you can see her whole forehead.
Maybe? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe.
I'm kidding, but I'm looking at all the other splash arts, and I'm like, yeah, like, you know, they have bangs or at least something up front. Anyway.
Even the group splash art with all of them together, she looks younger than her actual splash art.
Yeah.
So weird to think about. All right, let's go to.
Yeah, we're getting distracted.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's go on to one of the best, Akali.
I want to give her revolutionary, which is funny.
I'm in agreement.
All right, but I think it's funny, right? Because what really makes it revolutionary is magical girl ninja. But it's like that does change the formula and the way they integrate it into like how she looks and works and stuff. Is just really, they really hit it on the mark.
Okay, so I think it goes without saying that whoever's been working on Akali skins so far has been killing it in terms of color palette, from KDA to True Giants to the new KDA to this and everything in between. Her color palettes have been on point, and this is no exception. The icy blue with the, I don't know what you would call that, purple, very vibrant purple, is such a standout look. And like you said, she is a magical girl ninja. It gives her a lot of personality. She also has shorts underneath her. It's not exactly an open skirt. It's more like frills on her shoulder pieces. Interesting.
Or is it like it's not a corset or a gorget, but you know, like the big belt.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. It protects her hips.
Yeah, hips and core.
Yeah. She has. I mean, we're pretty much agreed on this. She's probably the best skin of season 4, with maybe one or two contenders.
And
at least on the Star Guardian side, I think she's the best of this season.
And I think too, what's really cool, right, is that they've kind of gotten enough freedom, the artists and writers, right? I feel like her design reflects her place in the story, where, you know, how we were talking about Rakan, like, would have been more interesting if he was a wild card, you know, and wasn't actually affiliated. Akali has that good read where it's like, she's the wild card who is affiliated with the Star Guardians, you know? Like, Jinx and, you know, Lulu might be chaotic, but overall, you know, they're going to come around and be on the good side. Akali actually has that kind of look and vibe where it's like, narratively, where's she going to go? Assuming that this is a happy magical girl series, you know, she's probably going to stay good, but still, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's funny to note that she has the exact same peculiarity as Corrupted Xayah, only with Xayah having that little splash of white, she has a lot more noticeable. It's not even black, it's like a dark purple in her look, but it's enough to tell you that she could be on either side, which is the point of her story, which is great. I think using Akali in this way makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, but we're agreed. She's revolutionary. I think there's maybe only one other person who might make that cut this season. We'll get to them when we get to them. Echo. Let's do Echo next.
Echo. So, I do have to be upfront. I'm really not sure how I feel about the dudes in Star Guardian.
Minus Rakan.
Minus Rakan.
Minus Rakan. All hail Rakan!
I will say, I do like his prestige skin more with how they break up the colors. But, but that being said, looking at just regular Echo, right? What the fuck is he wearing? It's like a bodysuit, chaps with a little crop top jacket over it.
You want my honest opinion?
Yes.
Average.
Oh. It's funny because I don't think the issue, right, for me at least, I think the issue is just I like the streetwear Star Guardian idea. I think the examples that they chose for Echo is just that kind of side of fashion where you're like, what? You know?
I'm of the opinion of they tried to do a lot and yet I'm underwhelmed. It's weird.
Yeah. Have you seen his Prestige? Because I feel like that's would have been better.
Are we doing Prestige now?
No, but with Echoes, right? Because it's average.
Are we making an exception for Prestige Echo?
I just wanted to talk about it, right? Because it's legitimately a better design. It's a better Star Guardian Echo design, in my opinion.
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
Could have been another skin.
Ooh, could have been in another skin line. Ezreal would have company, but I'm not going to do that to...
Change the colors and he could have been Debonair. Think about it.
Oh, shit.
Just think for a moment. He could have been Debonair.
Yeah.
He's underwhelming. I hate to say it that way, but he's underwhelming.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, there's so much going on, but it doesn't feel cool to me.
Yeah. I saw some comments saying something about, oh yeah, this is much better than the True Giant skin Echo, and I was like, excuse me, what?
Yeah, it's very hard to trust fashion tastes of people who play League on the internet.
I'm like, excuse me, I almost choked on my water just now. You want to repeat what you just said? So average. I'm putting him in average. Below Senna, above Lux and Soraka, easy. Well, we're on the same page here.
Yeah, it's average. It sucks. I like his hair. They've been doing it with that.
The hair's great, but I've seen better.
Yeah.
He's under Senna because Senna has the superior hair.
Pretty much.
Next one up is Sona. Okay, so I will give my one compliment.
Okay.
Giving this person glasses actually makes her stand out a lot more than the rest. It doesn't make her stand out a lot more, but it gives her a distinct feature.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'm having trouble deciphering if we really needed Sona in this.
The answer is she's popular and will get us money.
That answer. My thing is, it feels underwhelming. If they wanted to go the scholarly aspect, again, with the glasses, which I appreciate the glasses, why not go more? You only have the glasses, and then otherwise she looks like a standard magical girl. I will say I also like the draping. The drapes behind her back are very pretty. I will admit that. But I feel underwhelmed again.
Yeah, and similar to Seraphine, because she has that big prop, I feel like it doesn't add anything to her. I feel like as a magical girl, she doesn't need a giant-ass harp. But...
Well, here's the thing. I would keep Seraphine over Sona because I can see Seraphine under the over her stage.
Yeah.
I actually don't get to see much here. I don't know. I have personal bias here, which makes me feel underwhelmed because I thought her last skin, the Psyop skin line, her skin was so cool in Psyops.
Yeah.
With the ultraviolet hair and the concept that they did with her being a locked up Esper, then freed and using the machine that caged her against them. Not only did that have a lot of story, but it perfectly encapsulated her heart into it.
Yeah.
This one, it's...
Also, this is just something, it's super nitpicky. I happened to put her picture next to Soraka. They have, like, basically the exact same color scheme.
I mean, you could put Lulu in there, too.
Well, Lulu at least has a different shade of green. I'm talking, like, it feels like if the lighting was the same, Soraka and Sona would have the same color scheme.
I think that she's also connected to the first star, like the other two greenheads are.
I mean, look, the thing with this, right, is, like, we can make, you know, you can justify it, you can explain it, but it doesn't take away the fact that, at least for me, it's kind of an issue where it's like, hey, I put these two next to each other and they look way too similar. You know, I look at the other blue-haired people, like you put Poppy next to Oriana, and the shade is vastly different.
Yeah, it's true, and unfortunately this is a problem with our green-haired folk.
Janna next to Syndra, but the thing is Syndra's dark purple with light underneath is very different, you know?
Also, shape language-wise, that's an unfair comparison. Just saying.
But yeah.
One of them has a giant freaking ball of hair going up ways. It's pretty easy to distinguish these two. But they do enough. I see your point. It is the exact same shade of hair as Soraka. I would say that Sona is better than Soraka, but...
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's the thing, though. It's just because Soraka happens to exist, I feel like it weakens Sona for me, too.
On the contrary, I think Sona actually weakens Soraka more for me. I think the opposite.
Well, I think they both take from each other without lifting.
Yeah. I'm going to keep her an average underneath Echo. Okay. Actually...
I have her underneath Lux, but...
Underneath Lux? Okay, I don't know if I go that far.
Okay.
Underneath Echo.
So Lux is below Soraka?
No, Lux is above... From lowest to highest on average, I have Soraka, Lux, Sona, Echo, and Senna.
Okay, I put Senna at the top of average.
Yeah, I said from lowest to highest.
Okay, lowest, I'm sorry. So it's Soraka, Lux, Sona, Echo, Senna.
You'll catch, this is being recorded, you'll catch me if I accidentally...
It's okay. We're gonna go over all of them once we get the list, so I'll just relax.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, next up, let's just do the one that I know I'm not gonna like. That's probably the last one of the first half of this. Neela! Oh, God.
Oh, I like the sound of this.
I don't like this. I don't like it.
And it's her release skin, too. That's the fun part.
It's her first one. Oh, no.
Okay.
Bless her soul. She deserves better.
So let's do some positivity. I love her familiar.
Yes, the pug familiar is extremely cute.
I like her asymmetry on the legs.
You're really scrounging for this, aren't you?
Well, it's just because when I was looking at it, I realized they really are doing the purple with the greenish blue, like, a lot. Like, it's apparently their favorite color combination for this.
I don't... They overstayed its welcome. Here's another compliment. The circlet works on her. The circlet and earrings, it's what I wanted for Senna. It works. It's fine. The circlet. I said the circlet and earrings. I've got a problem with the spade concept. God. She looks like a casino girl. God help me.
Yeah, which is such a weird choice, I guess.
I don't like this.
Like, I guess...
I'm sorry. Also, all right, one last positivity thing. Circlet, the pug, familiar, and the shape of her skirt and top, the leaf-like shape, is actually a nice touch. I won't say about the design itself. I'm just saying the cut of it.
The cut of it is nice. The details are wanting.
Kill me. They actually had good shapes and they fucked it
up. I like her glove design.
No, not even that.
It's funny because her whip looks like a children's toy, but I like that it's like a wand that has a little bit of magic coming off. At least the concept is solid, even if the execution isn't hitting.
She's supposed to be like a fucking legend. Isn't she supposed to be like the She-Ra of the team? Oh, God.
I just know that she's the mentor of the newest
Yeah, she's the mentor of this season in the mobile area. Zaya's the one in Wild Rift.
It's funny because I feel like, and League with all its characters has this happen a lot. It almost feels like bloat where they added a character to something and that character didn't get enough time and focus, so it doesn't feel like they're really, a big deal.
Here's the thing that hurts about this. Neela is supposed to be the person you hear about in Legend. Great monster slayer. Defeater of demons. Keeps searching for more. Constantly the optimistic one, but not entirely in a good way. So she actually could have worked perfectly as a living legend in Star Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So putting her in Star Guardians was a good choice, even down to the children's toy. God damn.
I mean, I just watched the B movie where the laser gun was like literally a kid's toy, and you can see the tag on it. Like,
seriously, it just this hurts me. First off, who the hell? I'm trying to cut back on swearing, but it's hard. Who the hell decided that spades were a good idea?
Spades or diamonds?
Both. If you're gonna do diamonds, stick with a diamond.
Yeah, enough of that
one
shit.
Rant later. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just edit it with one rant, one fierce, passionate rant later.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned She-Ra, who I guess is a magical girl, right? I almost feel like, I don't know, optimistic warrior princess Nyla would have been better, where it's like, no, yeah, we just made She-Ra and just kept her out of Star Guardians.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because it's funny too, right? Because even though Nyla's powers are magic, she doesn't give me the magical girl vibe in this. Which, it's funny because Poppy is arguably in the same boat, but it's like, magical girls, the main way they fight, right, is through magic.
Mm-hmm.
Nyla doesn't, like, looking at her, right, and her pose, it doesn't really feel like that. I feel like it came up when we talked about it before. It's like maybe a ringmaster Nyla. But yeah, she's not a magical. She's a warrior, I guess. She's a lot more physical.
Again, I like the idea that you say give her the She-Ra look. They kind of had it, and then they went ringmaster, Vegas card person. It hurts. It hurts. This is going into Cube.
Oof. Nyla and Urgot, best friends.
It hurts me that bad. Something that you want to be good, and then it just stabs you hard.
Yeah, especially because it's her first skin, right? And it's weird to word it like this, but, in the old days, the first skin was usually just a shitty chroma. Now, first skins feel like they should really be good, and because, it's your first impression of the character.
Yeah.
And they hit the mark with Seraphine and KDA. Tying Nyla to Star Guardian with this, it doesn't quite work as a first skin.
It hurts. All right, all right.
Next one.
Next one, Talia.
Talia.
Talia's pretty easy for me. She's pretty.
Okay.
She's in pretty.
Nothing.
I've gone about the things that I like, and there are a few things I like. I like the moon shape. You're going to do rocks with magical girls. Doing the moon and moon rocks actually works. I'm just sad to not see it incorporated that well in the gameplay. The ribbon tassels are a nice touch along with the little cape thing that she's got on. Her magical familiar is really cute, but my nitpick remains my nitpick. I want to rip off her pigtails. I want her to just be the one with a pixie cut. And Sessions is the reason I feel so strongly. Sessions having the cute pixie cut with the tiny braids. Okay, they can't do the tiny braids in the game, I know, but you could do the pixie cut. There is no Star Guardian with a pixie cut right now. Not even any of the guys have a shortcut in particular. It's not like over animated. So I don't understand why they couldn't go Sailor Uranus and give her a pixie cut. Yeah, I know you would do that.
I'm an adult. I mean...
the other nitpick I have is that her board actually looks a little too similar with Seraphine's stage.
Oh.
And I didn't notice that till now.
Oof. Well, that's definitely a gameplay thing, but... Yeah, because like the way it's structured, I can actually see it in her splash a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm looking at splash art here. I am gauging this off splash art. I was really looking forward to the idea of Star Guardian Talia. I am very happy they put her in, but looking at her, I just want to look at Pool Party Talia.
Yeah.
Talia was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that she's in, but she's not...
You're glad she's in, but you kind of wish she got better.
Yeah, I wish that they would have taken... I wish that they wouldn't have given her Monica pigtail. That is my biggest nitpick here. We already have Lux, who has Monica pigtails. She would have looked so cute in a pixie cut. Just take off the pigtails and let her keep that little wing accessory. It's been perfect.
Yeah, especially because the only other girl with short hair, right? They gave her something very different to help the two look different. So, but yeah, so pretty.
Up next is Rel.
My prediction is magical, personally.
Yeah, at least.
Much better realization of the magical girl Knight.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like they looked at Poppy and was like, how do we make this even better?
We got someone who can form armor and a horse out of said armor. Let's make her a Star Guardian. Me, brilliant. Yay!
Is her horse a unicorn?
I think he has a little horn. Yeah. It's kind of cute.
Oh no, they got like the two wings. It's like two wings framing its head, so it's kind of like a bicorn. Which, it's fine. I guess they already used up the unicorn in one of her previous skins. But yeah, I feel like the idea of a magical girl knight who turns her armor into a magical unicorn sounds awesome as hell.
Honestly speaking, it's a great idea.
But what we got is still pretty cool, and I like how her... What is Rel's hairstyle?
Oh, that's an afro.
It is an afro, okay. Yeah, I like how her afro and her headpiece come together, where it's like you wonder if it's actually her hair or if it's the plumage of a headpiece.
Yeah, she, again, silhouette-wise, she's extremely strong. She's got the big afro with the giant head wings, almost looking like a headdress helmet of sorts. And then she's got that giant pauldron on one side, along with all the plating. She's really, really stand out. I'd say that she comfortably sits in magical, because she feels very magical to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who else would want to see a badass magical girl knight? This is cool.
Yeah, tanky magical girls are an underappreciated subset of the genre, I feel like.
I do like her more than Janna. I do like her more than Lulu and Zaya. She's very standout. Excuse me. But yeah, she comfortably. The only thing that stops her from being revolutionary is probably that familiar of hers.
What? You don't like her familiar?
Weird enough to say. It might be a nitpick of mine. I might come back. I might change my mind later. We'll see.
I was about to say.
But right now, she's comfortably in magical.
It's like I didn't realize familiars were part of the range.
No, they're well, they help.
Yeah.
They do help. But no, she looks great. Like, this is a fantastic design. Quinn is next.
This is where we might separate. I very much feel a sense of whimsy and enjoyment from Quinn's design. I don't know if it's because I like Quinn and feel like she doesn't get enough shit, or if it's just something about it reminds me of a certain style of character. It's like the perfect mix between a super Sentai, like a Power Ranger or a Kamen Rider, and a magical girl. And the Masquerade Masquerade mask is just really fun, and it helps her visually be different, you know?
So, in my opinion, Quinn, Akali, and Rel fit 3 different types of power fantasies. Quinn's is the masked hero. And yeah, no, she's got enough that I think that she feels pretty magical. She gives me Tuxedo Mask vibes of all things, but you don't actually see many magical girls wearing masks. And the fact that she's the one doing so, and that it's feathery, much like Valor, is a really nice touch. I also appreciate her gauntlet and the way that it's shaped.
Mm-hmm.
With the wings on there. And yeah, I see the Super Sentai things. Her little gem looks like a button.
Yeah, and just like the more armored bits.
Yeah.
When looking at her in-game model, the fact that she has like the magical girl crossbow, it brings me, I find it hilarious. It reminds me of the Power Ranger girl in Persona 4 Arena, whose name is Yukari Takeba, who's but yeah, this gives me, it's a very nice little niche, right? And it gives Quinn, I think, personality that she otherwise might not have, because they're like fighting, right? And then like bolts fly in, they kill a monster, and they turn and look, and Quinn is fucking JoJo posing against the skyline, standing on the steel girders, like,
yeah.
Oh, it was I, Feather Mask.
Now, I have... Oh, that's
Sorry,
cute.
I was just picturing my work here is done. But you really kind of didn't do anything.
Okay, I do have one big nitpick. Out of all the Star Guardians, she could have been the one wearing pants. if you're gonna go Tuxedo Mask, go Tuxedo Mask. That's all I'm saying. Would have been fun to just kind of see this caped, not cape. Well, she does have a cape, but this masked crusader with a giant bird throwing a rose. She gives me such Tuxedo Mask vibes. And that's not a bad thing. She looks great. I just wish they would have gone with either shorts or a cape. She seems like the type to do so.
Yeah.
I think it would have looked good. It's a nitpick. It is a nitpick.
It's funny, right? Because I think Quinn is traditionally the tomboy of the Demacian champions at the very least, which is probably why I don't use her that much. But I think, having her in shorts, it's funny. I feel like I would rank her higher if she came out sooner, because I'm looking at her core outfit, right? And besides the armor bits, it's very similar to Lux's, where it's like the very basic schoolgirl outfit, but then they add the armor and they build it up where you're like, whoa, this is actually kind of cool and unique.
Yeah, I feel the same on that. We also got to talk about Valor. This is a rare situation where you really can't talk about one without the other.
Never one.
Valor looks good. I think Valor looks really good for his skin.
Yeah. He's like a griffin.
Yeah. Again, I wish they would have gone full Tuxedo Mask, Bird Keeper. Wear pants. Make her the Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant with Tuxedo Mask. It would have been fine by me. I do think she's magical. Mm-hmm. I do think she fits that fantasy. Whether she's revolutionary, unfortunately, the classic schoolgirl outfit is preventing this. But I do think she's magical enough.
Yeah, and I will say this, I'm just kind of relieved because it's like, I feel like it's a lot better than what Quinn usually gets. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I feel like giving her pants or not, because they gave Rel tights underneath her skirt. I feel like they could have even just done that, right?
Yeah, they could have done tights or pants or shorts. I just don't think a skirt fits her. Yeah. And it would have distinguished her more. I mean, Quinn and Rel in the story are from another school. They're the tomboy duo. So it would have made total sense if they were the ones wearing the shorts and tights and pants, yeah. But she's magical. I think the tomboy duo works just fine.
Yeah, and I mean, part of me is like, oh man, what if Quinn did have more coverage, and so it's just like Batman with a vaguely schoolgirl version of the Batman costume. And made more sparkly, and it's like, yeah, I mean, but yeah. So Quinn isn't magical. She's solid. She's fun. We can kind of.
She expresses a bit of a power fantasy. Yeah.
And
she works.
Yeah, and it's like she could have had something else to make her revolutionary, but still upper tier.
Upper tier. Which leaves
the villains.
The villains. So which one do you want to do? Fiddlesticks or Morgana?
Let's do Morgana.
Cool. We leave the best for last.
I find Morgana magical, but partly because she feels like such a solid reference to a traditional magical girl villain who is like the older lady.
I mean, yeah, I noted before and I explained to you about Morgana's ties to Princess Tutu. Morgana is a clear tie to Queen Beryl, if anything else, from Sailor Moon.
With a splash of Maleficent?
With a splash of Maleficent, and can we just talk about those colors? Those colors!
Oh, what's the mom's name in fucking Kill La Kill? A little bit of that, too.
Oh, yeah, because of the peekaboo. The rainbow peekaboo in her white hair. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she is deliciously fun. Weird term, I know, but she is a villain, and she is a villainess. She knows it, and she's loving it. And I really enjoy that. Again, they knocked it I'm not sure if she's bottom of Revolutionary, or bottom of Revolutionary or top of Magical. Because that is a standout look. That is very fashionable and very, very villain, you know?
Yeah. Her name is Ragyo Kiryuin?
Oh yeah, Ragyo Kiryuin. Yeah.
But yeah, she has that really strong matron villain vibe, which is, for a series like this, I'm going to call it a series even though it's not actually a show or anything, right?
It should be a series. That's what it should be.
They could really get away with a traditionally animated.
They could so get away with it.
Anyway, but yeah, for a villain of that piece, if you're going to go with the lady, I think it's a really strong design. The question is, do they push the concept far enough that it's a mind-blowing revolutionary design?
Mind-blowing, no. But it's close.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me enough, it makes me, it delights me to see just how much fun they had with her skin. I don't know. She's really on the edge here. She could be one way or the other. But I don't think she pushes the envelope as much as someone like Zoe, and who's coming up next, it did. But she's close.
Yeah.
And they do so well with their villains.
Her familiar's pretty cool, too.
Yeah, the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though she kind of has more of a, at least with that thing, whatever, her shoulder pieces, right? It feels like her vibe is like a moth or whatever that one Pokemon is with that shape, but the bat is fun.
Actually, she reminds me of Noivern somewhat, which is a bat. So, but yeah, no, she's got Ragyo vibes from Kill la Kill. She is the Sith Lord, the Palpatine almost.
Yeah.
She delights in torturing people but bringing them to the dark side.
She's the star nemesis, if you will.
Yes, yeah, she's the star nemesis.
And she laughs like, oh, ho, 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 ho.
Yeah.
If she laughs.
I would not. I'm going to put her at the top of Magical, right next to Rakan.
Perfect.
It's close, but I think she barely missed the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Our last contender, though, better be in Revolutionary on your end. Because Fiddlestick blew my head away with just how good this frightening monster character was.
I know that's not the expression, but yes, I agree. Yeah, and there's a lot of good, what do they call that, visual storytelling with this design, and and
the freaking the last remnant of what he used to be, the little familiar being in what's in the cage. Oh my god, that's so good. He looks like a clown, but he's terrifying.
Well,
I don't want to be by this guy.
Yeah, well, he's like, you said clown, and I'm gonna say Kefka, and the main distinction, right, is that the kind of menace that's inherently in the super colorful design. The dude's covered in hands, his body's all messed up, his face isn't a face.
Yeah.
He's this. I really like that they did. I want to say it's white and black, but I guess technically it's white and a really dark midnight purple.
It's almost a silver and a midnight purple too.
Yeah, and so
even the white looks a bit more gray.
And like contrasting that, right, with all the color, which I'm assuming is supposed to be all the Star Guardian energy he ate or something.
Yeah, I would agree. It's so funny because it's like, oh yeah, these colors are supposed to be bright and chipper, but he makes it look like a Halloween, the Halloween creature you do not want to meet up.
Yeah.
with. It's so good. This is revolutionary, and it's going. I don't know if it's in the top, but it's close.
Yeah. I think another big thing too, right, is that when it comes to the primary antagonist monster, right, um, you need they need to have that thing where they feel like more than just a random minion, which I think they managed to really capture with his. I mean, I guess it's a chess motif if you had to nail it down.
But his biography says that he literally can warp. He has so much energy filled in him that he can warp the space around him. So yeah, it is supposed to be a chessboard motif.
How does that have to do with? Oh, whatever. But yeah, like it. But also, I like how when the Talia thing, right? It's like you can animate him to be cute and silly. So
yeah,
they hit that
JoJo's character.
Yeah, they hit that line really just right, where it's like you have this character that, depending on the art style, is scary and grotesque, or goofy and just silly, just having fun.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. But we agree he's in Revolutionary then. All right. That includes all of the ones on the board. We are not doing pajamas.
Yep.
Okay.
We can order what we have, and then we can talk about Gwen, I suppose.
Well, let's talk about Gwen real quick, because we won't be able to.
Yeah, I'll just
add her on here.
I'll just edit her in using my movie magic.
Yeah.
Let's start with positives. I like what they did with the scissors.
Hang on, I'm looking for the splash art real quick. Oh, the scissors look fun, and I like the hair. Yeah. And I like the shape of the back skirt.
Yeah, the trail, question mark?
Yeah, the train.
I like that she has ribbons. It's funny, because, again, I feel like the purple, when they don't know what to do, they just throw purple as in. But I think it works because something, because she has so much red and blue, it's like, oh yeah, she's red and blue, and some parts are purple.
It's what in color theory is called a analogous color palette. Ooh. Where you take three colors that are very close to each other, in this case blue, purple, pink, with the complementary color of gold to contrast. Nice. Her color palette's solid.
Yeah, and I like her little arm rings.
Her little arm what?
Her little arm rings.
Oh yeah, the beginning of the gloves have those little arm rings. That definitely does make her pop.
I feel like it's really solid. You have the base core concept, and you add little bits to make it unique, up to and including she has the pigtails, but they're done in a way that's different. Because if you put her with all the other characters with pigtails, which is Jinx, Lux, Sona, Nyla,
Talia,
right? She has them in the. I only see them in anime, so I call them like Ojo Sama ringlets. But the big.
The drill, twin drills.
The drills. Fucking Amy from Soul Calibur.
Yeah, she is. All right, we only have 2 pieces of concept art from her. I think she's distinct enough to stand out from the rest. Is she magical or is she pretty? I wouldn't call her revolutionary. I think she's magical. I think she fits a certain frame. I think she's magical.
Yeah, I think they did just enough with her where it's like, yeah, you know, I recognize she's part of this group that's uniform, but she does stand out.
Yeah, and her weapon, again, like you said, her weapon was done extremely well.
Yeah.
And no other person has scissors. So.
Yeah.
Which is... Alright, let's get to ordering these guys.
Okay. Let's start at the bottom. Could have been another skin line. We have Ezreal.
I'm gonna add Prestige Echo in there.
Alright, I'll put Prestige Echo in there.
But look, it was the one thing I noticed. Come on.
I'm gonna put Prestige Echo above Ezreal because, you know. Got it.
They're the same in this case for me. Yeah, they're the same.
This is such a neutral category. It's like, look, if you're in there, you're fucked. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you're in there, you're in there. There's no use in ordering that. It's just.
I like the slab though.
The what?
The slab.
Oh yeah, the slab's fine. It's fine. It's just fine.
Okay.
I have Urgot above Nilah. At least I can appreciate Urgot. I can appreciate Urgot.
There's at least something to enjoy there.
Yeah.
And he's going to conventions and he's wearing a face mask? How conscientious.
Indeed. Like, Urgot's... It's so funny that these two are in Cube because Urgot's in Cube because it's just a joke skin.
Yeah.
It's a little cursed, but it's still fun. Nilah's in there because I can't stand this. So Nilah, of course, is below Urgot. For average, I have it as Senna, Echo, Sona, Lux, and Soraka.
Perfect. Yep. We line up.
Alright. Okay, so I do not have Pretty lined up so far.
Alright.
I was going to leave that one for later.
Okay. Well, let's just...
That was a hard one.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what kind of makes it hard. So, at the top of Pretty, I have Kai'Sa and Xayah.
Yeah, Redeem Xayah.
Redeem Xayah specifically, yes.
Yeah. I have Kai'Sa, Redeem Xayah, and Poppy. All three of those which I feel pretty comfortable in keeping.
Yeah, those line up. Ahri, Miss Fortune, Seraphine, Redeemed Rakan, and then Taliyah.
I agree Taliyah kind of goes into the lowest end of Pretty, along with Redeemed Rakan. Definitely the middle three. The middle three are where I'm struggling.
Here's one. I feel like I would put Taliyah above Redeemed Rakan.
Okay.
Just because I feel like, Star Guardian Taliyah happening is awesome. And should have happened. Redeemed Rakan does nothing for me. And I find it...
No, that's a fair point. That's,
Yeah, and it's just that they did it, and I feel it's a little unnecessary, and then what they did with it didn't change my mind. So that naturally it's like, I didn't need this.
The big debate for me is between Seraphine, Ahri, and Miss Fortune, who kind of have similar feelings all the way around, for me.
I almost want to... Maybe it's just recency bias, right? But it's like... The Seraphine is in the running for the highest of those three. And my argument, I guess, to lower Ahri is that she doesn't really have a Star Guardian weapon. Her familiar is her orb, but you never actually see that. Which I feel like is kind of, at least for this time, and kind of where they took it, a very kind of boring rendition of a Star Guardian.
No, that's solid. That's on the other hand, though, I do think that Ahri has a better color palette than Miss Fortune, with the blue-purple being a nice contrast to the red, versus Miss Fortune, who doesn't really have that.
She has orange.
She has red.
And red.
Yeah. I do think... I didn't know you were accounting for familiars here.
Well, just in
Um,
this case, right, because it's so close,
yeah,
they
if
kind
we
of.
are going by familiars, then the mischievous twins by far out outdo Ari's. And I do agree that Seraphine has the best outfit of the three.
Yeah. So,
So
Seraphine, Misfortune, Ari?
yeah. So for pretty, from highest to lowest, Kaisa redeemed Zaya, Poppy, Seraphine, Misfortune, Ari, Talia, and then redeemed Rakan.
Mm-hmm.
It was still pretty, regardless of getting of the skin doing nothing for him.
Yeah.
Nothing. All right. Oh boy. The magical section.
Oh, this is where it gets fun.
This is where we might have some fights.
Okay.
So we can both agree that Morgana and Corrupted Rakan deserve the top 2 spots, yes?
Yes, in that order.
In that order. Morgana at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And the next 3 I had were Syndra, Oriana, and Rel, but I was really, and it's just purely based on nostalgia, I'm really tempted to put Oriana above Syndra.
I think
that's my nostalgia working against me.
I mean, I think that's really fair. I feel like with the kind of history of the concept and what they were going for and how well they achieved it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you call it nostalgia, but I call it context, right? It's like it just works on a much deeper level than Syndra, who kind of, for lack of a better term, right, feels like she's a mysterious schemer, and then appearance-wise, even though I really like how she looks, part of me just goes, I wonder if the artist knew who Jiri Han was when they were drawing her. Because
I'm having that same debate with Rel and Syndra because I like Rel's looks so much.
And I feel like Rel pushes her concept a lot more than Syndra does.
Mm-hmm. Though, of course, Syndra has the familiars as her balls, which are just a lot of fun.
Yeah, but I think overall, you know, it'd be one thing if it was super close, but I feel like Rel's overall concept is just so much more in depth, it's stronger, even though it's technically just adding a descriptor to Magical Girl, right? It's a knight magical girl, and what would be the most, you know, if you're picturing the perfect way to represent that fantasy, I really think Rel hits that.
They nailed it. Mm-hmm. They nailed Rel's look, and it's not even a personality thing. That is her personality. She's serious. She wants to whip someone's butt.
Yeah. She might be a little bit more juvenile, delinquent than normal, but
I think it works. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
And then Syndra after, so we've got Morgana, Rakan, Corrupted, Oriana, Rel, and Syndra. Mm-hmm. I put Janna afterward.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put Quinn, Lulu, and Corrupted Zaya.
As a fan...
Switch Zaya with Lulu. I might switch Lulu and Zaya.
I think so, because I feel like Zaya deserves better than second to last place. But I'm also... I mean, I kind of want to... Part of me wants to kick Janna a little bit lower myself. Because the thing with her and Lulu, right, is like they're magical girl mages. So they just have staffs and they have their familiars and, you know.
But it works with Janna's character. And if there is, I think Janna fulfills the mentor role the best. Mm-hmm. And that's really what's got me. She is majestic. She is wearing a sailor outfit and she's looking majestic doing it. I would push Zaya over Quinn only because of Quinn's outfit.
See, you really don't like her outfit, but I just think, for whatever reason, it really brings me joy, because it's kind of like, if she feels like a tomboy who really liked Power Rangers, but then got turned into a magical girl, was like, Okay, you know what? Fine, but I'm taking the armor bits. I'm gonna take what little bit I'm allowed to change, and I'm gonna really.
Okay. I will put Quinn above Zaya, but I'm keeping Janna where she is.
Okay.
What I have is Morgana, Corrupted Rakan, Oriana, Rel, Syndra, Janna, Quinn, Zaya, and Lulu.
Okay. I like that.
And then the Revolutionary. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Because at the top two, I'm telling you right now, it's Zoe and Fiddlesticks, but I don't know which one goes up top.
Oh God, Zoe or
Because both of them go for two very different directions, and they're both fantastic. Alright. I think I can agree with myself that Jinx is probably at the bottom here.
And that's just kind of a disadvantage of coming out first by years.
Yeah.
Alright.
There is no shame in being the bottom of Revolutionary. You're still Revolutionary.
So
there's just others that came out after you that were such wow factors.
Well, that's just like their concepts, right? Like, you look at what their base characters are, and I think Nico has just so much more to work with than Jinx inherently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, my lineup is Fiddlesticks, Zoe, Nico, Akali, and Jinx.
Alright, so that was what I was going to ask you about. Nico versus Akali.
Nico.
Is it just because she captures the more optimistic, lighthearted magical girl fantasy a lot stronger?
Partly that. It's also partly because, I think she is the embodiment of a really good magical girl design. Akali is a subversion of it. Also, I am biased. I like the color palette a lot more on Nico.
Fair enough. I'll steal those tropical colors.
Good. Just her looks so good. It is the best. I think out of the Star Guardians, Nico has always been my favorite design. It is so good. But she is not at the top. The top go to our two villains. I just can't figure out which one wins. God. They're both so good. I think Fiddlesticks wins. And I think Fiddlesticks wins because of the familiar trapped in the cage. That tells such story there. It's so good. But it's like he wins by like a hair.
Yeah, and I mean...
Oh, so good.
It's funny because it's what got her to the dance, but Zoe as the Chaos Demon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Inherently, being a Chaos Demon character, you can still tell interesting stories with them, but they themselves don't have an interesting story, if that makes sense.
Well, it's been implied that there is a story behind with Gwen. Who, by the way, with Gwen, I would probably put her under Syndra above Janna. That's where I would put her.
Alright, cool. I'll have to try and edit that in somehow, really poorly.
Just put an arrow.
just like spray paint an arrow. Gwen.
Just like put like a little scissors icon right in between those two.
Yeah. But yeah, and I mean, when it comes to the villain dynamic, right? It's obviously Morgana's the top dog. Fiddlesticks is Fiddlesticks in the hierarchy? Is he under Morgana's control?
I don't know. All I know is that Fiddlesticks and Zoe are both wild cards. And I also know for a fact that your hero will never be as good without an outstanding villain. And boy, are these two, and even Organa, outstanding villains.
And I like that they kind of, even though they're all wild cards, right? I think if you're using the incredibly outdated, but still useful for this conversation, D&D alignment chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Morgana is lawful evil.
Mm-hmm.
Fiddlesticks is neutral evil, and Zoe is chaotic evil. You know, Fiddlesticks, the crazy monster, right, is going to do evil for its own sake. So each one of them, and Zoe's chaotic, just does stuff because she's on a whim, and Morgana actually has plans. And so, again, they should just make a TV show because they have a full cast already, A, and B, they have villains that each operate completely differently from each other, even if they work together, which is always a fun dynamic.
And if you want even more characters, Star Nemesis Evelyn and Star Nemesis Aurelian Soul. That's it. That's all you need. That's all. But these are great.
Yeah.
If we only get these, I'd be fine.
I mean, you know, if we've finished our list and we're at the point where we're giving, you know, wishes, I'm sorry. I know I've brought this up too many times, but Star Guardian set would be hilarious.
The rise of the himbos.
I'm seriously telling you, he's gonna wear the good boy shorts that Ezreal should have had, and then like because he's his magical I don't know, his transformation form, he gains all that height and muscle. He ends up like wearing like a crop top.
Sounds like a joke skin, but I know it wouldn't be.
It's like half a joke skin, but even if it's just set running around in short shorts and like, you know, the top is like a normal, you know, outfit, I'm here for it.
In my opinion, and I hate to put set down like this, but in my opinion, we have enough Star Guardians. We have enough. There are more than enough.
Okay, Star Nemesis set.
No, because he doesn't work as a Star Nemesis.
Yeah, what do you mean? Who's that guy? He was blessed by the first darkness because he loved to fight someone.
Make him Star Pizza Guy. Make his shirt way too small for him.
I know I've shown it to you, but no, it didn't click. But there's an old show called Ultimate Muscle. Just make him the flying meathead who's challenging the guardians of other planets to like fist fights.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally what his role in the universe is. He's that one-shot mercenary bounty hunter character that shows up for one episode, gets beat up, and then never shows up again.
Yeah, well, okay. My thing is, if you are to open this one more time, if you are to do it, no more Star Guardians, Evelyn and Aurelian Soul as Star Nemesis, and that's it. Close it out with that. That's all you need. 2 more outstanding villains. And that's just for the heck of it. Because if you closed it out with just these, I would be perfectly fine. I'd be so satisfied. But I mean, come on, Space Dragon being your final boss.
Yeah.
Who controls the cosmoses itself. That feels like the ultimate nemesis to the first star.
Yeah, and they got 30 people. Like I counted, like original characters. Right? Oh wait, no. But they're approaching 30 people. That's a lot.
What?
They're at like 28?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go much farther.
You don't want to go much farther. 1 or 2 characters, Aurelian Soul, and if we can get one more slot, Star Nemesis Evelyn. That's it. That's it. That's all I want. And it would just be the cherry on top. But if this is all we get, I'm perfectly satisfied. Because between Zoe and Fiddlesticks and Morgana, thank you for making such good villain designs. They lift my soul.
Yeah.
But yes,
But yeah, if they did try to do an animated series just to test the waters, which team would you pick?
Can I make my own? Can I pick my 5? Or am I stuck with the team that they have already pre-established?
We can do both. Pick this preset team, and then also the recording's almost 3 hours long. I think I'm going to cut it here since we're not even on topic anymore.
Fair enough.